Waitsburg people at the end of the game were wonderful. They were cheering like crazy for our girls to score a basket. Because they'd only had one, and they did get a second one. Now again, in those kind of events, we don't typically have those kind of issues anymore, but it's tough to find something positive. But you need to do that. You need to encourage them, okay? Because that's a key moment, especially when we lose a game. Before the season, have a sense of why your student athlete turns out. And I'm going to put up some study results here that I think you'll find real interesting. Why are they turning out? Why aren't they staying home playing video games? What has caused them to think about turning out? During contests, be a positive role model. Cheer strong, but cheer for the team and cheer for our school. After the contest, give them some space. Give them some time. They'll let you know if they want to talk to you about the ball game, okay? And as I tell some parents, save your analysis of the game. Save it. Give it a. The #1 volleyball coach in the state of Washington is a gal at Colfax. 31 years, 19 state championships, and several other places. During those 31 years. She has a rule after every match. She goes in, she spends 5 minutes with the girls, tells them, positive things, and then we do not talk about that match for at least 24 hours. Okay? And she has had great success with that. So think about that. Save your analysis. And then, last but not least, and always, bring snacks. That's an important thing. Okay? Let me put these studies up fairly quickly for you. This is from a Michigan State study that was done a couple years ago. Here's boys. The reasons boys turn out for sports. #1, to have fun. Right? And then you can see the others. Do something I'm good at, improve my skills, stay in shape. #10, to get to a higher level of competition. What's the #1 reason? Fun. Okay, that's the boys. Same study. Girls. Guess what? #1, to have fun. Okay. Stay in shape, exercise, improve my skills, make new friends, etc. All right? Now, that's not to say that we play recreation type athletics in our league. We're in a very competitive district, in a very competitive league. But what I tell our young student athletes here at Prep is fun is not being silly, like you were in 8th grade. Fun is being good at what you do. And that puts it in the right perspective. I think it puts it in the perspective of, yeah, if I'm disciplined, if I'm coachable, I'm going to develop the skills that I have, and I'll have fun. Okay? It was a lot of fun winning the state basketball championship last year, you guys. For a school that's only 10 years old, to win the state title in basketball. But again, it took that mindset that having fun is being good at what you do. And that team didn't go undefeated. Matter of fact, we came out of district. We were lucky to get out of district. I'll just put it that way. We came out of district 2nd place. We had to come through the back door in the losers bracket. We went to state. No one picked Tri-Cities Prep to win the state title. Nobody. And I think nobody figured it out until after we had walked off the floor that night and had the trophy in our hand that we did. Okay? So again, having fun is being good at what you do. And I think those studies, that's very interesting to see those studies. Okay? Let me put an overhead up that I picked up about 2 weeks ago, the idea for the overhead, from the coaches clinic in Yakima. And we had an athletic director talk to us about how to keep your parents engaged, but also how to approach the parents as far as dealing with their student athlete. And he said this. I thought it was real interesting. His name's Doug Brown, retired athletic director, basketball coach. Great guy. Written a couple books on athletics. He said, release your child to the game. In other words, let your child, son or daughter, to the game. Release them. Okay? Let them go to the game. When they're in Little League, you kind of hover over them. When they're in middle school, you do that a little bit. But now in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade, you got to release them to the game. And here are some indicators that you're not, and I try not to be a negative person, but this is a negative overhead. Here are some indicators to you as parents, and just don't point at anybody or laugh at anybody now here in the room, but this is an indicator to parents that you have not yet released your student to the game. You still share the credit when things go well. Okay? Not a good sign. You try to resolve problems, and again, this is athletic problems, during the season, rather than letting the coach take care of those things. Okay? You continue to coach them when they think they know more than you do. And you know what point, the studies have showed this, at either 9th or 10th grade is when your son or daughter is to the point where they will usually tell either me or a coach, and this is, again, a nationwide study, that they probably know more than mom and dad do now. Okay? Now, no offense, but that's where they're coming from, all right? If you yell at officials during the games, it's a sign you have not released your son or daughter to the game. You make excuses when things don't go well. We lose a game, you're the one that comes up with the excuse. Now listen to your kids. They rarely make excuses. Rarely. You just don't hear it. On the bus home or whatever. Oh, your son or daughter avoids you after the game. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. The outcome of the game stays with you longer than it stays with your son or daughter. You're still talking about the damn football game on Sunday. He's moved past it, all right? Or the volleyball match. They're gone. It's by them, all right? Oh, and I like 8. Your spouse does not sit next to you at the game. Is that a sign or what? Again, don't point. Just think about those things, And I, there was probably 80 of us, listening to Doug talk about this, and we all chuckled at that, but how true that is. As a matter of fact, he had just given this type of talk to one of the big Catholic high schools on the west side. And he said at that school, there was a lot of chuckling about that particular overhead. Okay. During the game, parents, gosh, try to be there, okay? Try to be there. It's been a long time since I stepped on a wrestling mat competitively, but my folks came to all the matches. My mom brought her rosary beads and paced out in the hallway. And that's kind of how it was. But try to be there if you can. That's important. That really, that's probably ranked among, when you ask the kids, that's probably the number one thing. If you can make it, try to make it. Okay? 2, during the game, be a model of appropriate behavior. Okay? Like I said, cheer, absolutely. Cheer for them. But have poise, have confidence, and good character. This also comes from the kids. Don't focus so much on your son or daughter. Focus on what? The team. Your kids want you to cheer, not so much for them, but for the team. So cheer for the team. Even if, like I said, it's 43-4 or whatever. Okay? Cheer for the team. Encourage the team. And as I like to point out to folks, at games or matches, you have to choose one of these roles. You have to be a player, coach, an official, or a spectator. Well, the bad news for most of us in this room is we're not going to be players anymore, right? And most of us aren't coaching. Some of us might think about getting into do officiating, but you're not. So the bottom line is, what role for most of us in this room are we going to be? Spectator. Be a good one. Be a great one. And be focused on being very positive, with your sons or daughters. Okay? Now, how about after the game? Okay? So we've kind of figured out why they play, what we should do during the ball games. How about after the games? Approval. The kids deserve positive feedback. Approval, of how they played, how the team played in particular. Again, focus on the team.